In 2004, during his debate with Austin Dacey, William Lane Craig was confronted with the argument that evolution poses strong doubts on the presence of a theistic creator. The reasoning at the core of the objection is that an omnipotent deity could elaborate efficient schemes to achieve his purposes. Why choose evolution, a painful, chaotic, and slow process of improvement of living beings by selection through destruction? He replied with the following.
Fourthly, he suggests that evolution is incompatible with the existence of God because evolution is wasteful and inefficient. Well, let me make two responses to this. First of all, efficiency is important only for a person who has either limited time or limited resources, or is limited in both. But for God, he isn't troubled by limited time or limited resources, and therefore I don't think efficiency is a necessarily important quality for God. If God chooses to create via evolution, I think he's entirely free to do so, and we can't gainsay it just because it doesn't meet our expectations. But secondly, it's not entirely clear to me that the assumption behind this objection is true, namely that macroevolutionary theory is true. It's far from demonstrated. In fact, it's fantastically improbable that this could have happened in the absence of a designing intelligence. This has been pointed out by Frank Tipler and John Barrow in their book, The Anthropic Cosmological Principle. They list 10 steps in the evolution of Homo sapiens, each of which is so improbable that before it would have occurred by chance alone, the sun would have ceased to be a main sequence star and incinerated the Earth. They estimate the evolution of the human genome, the odds of this are somewhere between 4 to the negative 180th power to the 110,000th power, and 4 to the negative 360th power to the 110,000th power. So if evolution did occur, it would literally be a miracle, and therefore evidence for the existence of God.
First, this reply, if true, would prove an intelligent designer, but it would not address the problems that evolution poses to the existence of God as classic theists conceive it. A God who is perfectly good would not choose evolution to achieve his objectives, since he has alternatives available to him that would not require millions of years of animals ripping each other's limbs to shreds, suffering and dying to the defects that chance attributed to them. So, Craig's reply doesn't erase the fact that a good God would choose another process. As things are, the hypothetical creator appears to have willfully engineered the whole process to cause the death and the pain of living beings throughout a long process. Ergo, God as conceived by Craig does not exist. So Craig is dodging the implications of the objection, but his reply is anyway incorrect. Naturalistic evolution is an unbiased process. If you instead presuppose that the outcome that happened with evolution is something that was intended to happen, then you will notice innumerable improbabilities in its course to reach its final goal. Let's imagine a series of dice throws, let's say 10, each throw with its particular numerical outcome. Think to calculate the possibility of a particular sequence of results in these 10 throws. How to calculate it? Dividing 1 for the division of 6 to the power of 10. So, the probability of guessing the right sequence with a single prediction before the throws would have been 1 in 60,466,176. Pretty unlikely. But since you've just thrown the dice, without making any prediction beforehand, just looking at the outcomes of the throws at the end of it all, would it be reasonable to say someone must have fixed the results to obtain this specific sequence? I don't think so. If instead someone was to have bet with you that he could guess each outcome of the throws beforehand, and he resulted right in his prediction, you'd indeed be inclined in supposing that the dice were somehow staked to favor a specific series to come out. This is the same thing Craig has done, presupposing the outcome of evolution as having importance. He's basically considering it like a valid result, just like the prediction I've just illustrated. Atheists consider the result that evolution has had up until now a valueless outcome, like the results that came by throwing the dice without making a prediction beforehand. This that I've shown wasn't an isolated instance. Craig has apparently continuously used this same reply with slight modifications during his long career as a debater.
Now, it seems to me that if evolution did occur, then it would have had to have been a miracle. In other words, evolution is literally evidence for the existence of God. So if evolution did occur, it would literally be a miracle, and therefore evidence for the existence of God. So if evolution did occur on this planet, it was literally a miracle, and therefore evidence for the existence of God. So I don't think this is an argument for atheism, quite the contrary. It really provides good grounds for thinking that God superintended the process of biological development. So the Christian can be open to the evidence to follow it where it leads. By contrast, as Alvin Plantinga has said, for the naturalist, evolution is the only game in town. No matter how fantastic the odds, no matter how improbable, it's got to be true, because there is no intelligent creator and designer. So in one sense, you've got to feel a little sorry for the atheist. He can't really follow the evidence where it leads. His presuppositions determine the outcome. By contrast, if there is a fine-tuner and creator of the universe, then already in the initial conditions of the Big Bang, you have an elaborately designed universe that permits the evolution and existence of intelligent life. And I think evolution simply layers on more improbability.
Given what I've shown here, I think we can assert that this reply is 1. A distraction from the true implications of evolution for theism. 2. It isn't proof of the existence of an intelligent designer. Whether macroevolution has sufficient evidence to back it up, I'm going to leave it for someone else. In the meanwhile, I'll go with the relevant scientific consensus and assume it does. Thank you for listening.